Greetings trainers, KuroBlitz here and welcome back to another video. Pokemon abilities. They sure are interesting, are they not? Especially the ones that will boost your level of power when you are in a pinch. From Grass's Overgrow, from Fire's Blaze, to Water's Torrent, and even Bug's Swarm. All of these abilities will boost the Pokemon's level of power when they are in a crisis and 1/3 of their HP bar. But what if all of the Pokemon types, besides Bug and the starters, had an ability similar to this? This is what I'm here to talk about today. So here's the thing, besides Bug Pokemon having Swarm and also all the starters having these kinds of abilities, even the elemental monkeys of Unova have this as a hidden ability, which makes me believe that in the times of the Unova of old, they were the actual starters. So Legends Kyurem or the original dragon, I'm looking at you, but regardless, all of Pokemon abilities have a Japanese name as well. Overgrow is Fresh Greenery, Blaze is Raging Flames, Torrent is Raging Rapids, and Swarm it's Bug Notification. And I had this idea that I want to share in regards to what if all types of Pokemon had an ability like this. This was an idea that I was discussing with a friend of mine, Pedro, also known as the Media Nut. If you want to know everything about all things pop culture, he's the guy that you should watch the channel. I'm going to link the link in the description down below and also in the iCard. But without further ado, trainers, let's get started with this wondrous adventure into the Pokemon world and how all types of Pokemon could have a pinch ability. Let's go! Starting out with the Dark type, I believe that their name ability should be Nefarious, and in Japanese it would be Penumbra, because Dark type are evil in Japanese, but they are not evil or ill-intended hearts, so I think that the name Nefarious would be a great name, and Penumbra, you know, light and shadow, the twilight, so they are dark but not dark, so I think that the ability would have a great name if it was, you know, Nefarious, or in Japanese, Penumbra. As for the dragon types, because they are very, you know, old with magic and also draconic power, I believe that the name Archaic would be great. In Japanese it would be Folklore Fang, because, you know, dragons and whatnot. And I think, you know, there are various kinds of magic in the Pokemon world, but dragon magic is the most ancient one, so I think that the name Archaic would be a great name for a dragon ability. When it comes to electric types, I do like the name Torrent, which in Japanese could be either beacon or lightning. I'm trying to create names without, you know, specifying Pokemon species or even their moves, being them Z or G-Max or whatnot. So I think that the name Current for an electric pinch ability would be great. I thought about also Voltage as well, but Current has an extra push. I think that the name Current would be a great name for an electric ability of Pokemon. As for the Fairy type, like how archaic magic is a magic of old, I think that for the fairy type we would need a name that is also very magical and mystical, which is why I think that the name Mystic would be a great name for a fairy ability, which in Japanese would be called the Ultimate Fae. Because when you don't want to mess with fairies, people, even in the days of old, you don't want to mess with those pixies. So yeah, I think that the name Mystic would be a great name for a fairy type ability. When it comes to the fighting type and also their overall fighting spirit, I think that the name Bodybuild would be a great name for a fighting type ability. Because when fighters and even brawlers are in a pinch, they start to, you know, use their muscles to even more efficiency. And I think that the Japanese name Baneful Brawler would be a very nice touch. But yeah, Bodybuild for fighting types would be a great name ability to go with. Now as for the flying type, I do love the name Spiral, because when you are flying you can create spirals either horizontal, vertical or diagonal to control the winds and whatnot. And in regards to the Japanese name, it could be either one of the winds of the world, being Minstrel or Zephyr, even though we have the city of Mistralton and also the Zephyr badge. So I think that the name Spiral for a Pokemon ability name would be great, so like, you know, spiraling all over the winds. I thought about Gale or Minstrel, because, you know, Gales of Darkness and whatever more, but well, we already have Gale Wings. So yeah, the name Mistral for flying types. The idea of flight, but not all flying types can fly, so yeah, the ability Spiral would be a great name for this avian bird Pokemon. When it comes to ghost types, I do believe that the name Spectre would be a great name, especially the Japanese name that sounds awesome as hell, being Wraith Warrior. Basically, you know, going full on poltergeist with this. I love the idea that when ghosts are in low health, you are basically trying to exorcise them, they actually call upon their powers and whatnot. So the ability Spectre or Wraith Warrior would be a great name for ghost type Pokemon. Continuing on with ground type, I consider the name Seismic or whatnot, but we have Seismic Toss and also whatever more. So I think that the name Tremor in Japanese, striking soils, would be a great name for, you know, ground Pokemon. Like, they make the earth shake louder and, you know, more properly because they are also in a pinch. So yeah, Tremor for ground types, it would be great, in my opinion. Now going from ground to ice, I have the ability Chill, in Japanese being named the Final Frost, which is amazing. I consider the name Frost because, well, OLM animates Pokemon, but also in Azumi 11, and we have Axel Blaze and Sean Frost. But, well, we have Frost in Japanese, so I think that going with Chill, it basically, it exudes more energy to the name. And yeah, it's because Blaze, it's hot, it goes hotter, but Frost, it has that impact, and I want for that impact to not exist, like, you know, going absolute zero, you know, basically chill, like sheer cold. But yeah, this is the name that I have for ice type Pokemon. Continuing on with normal types, I think that the name Standard would be a great name for this type of ability for normal type Pokemon. Like, they start to break the standards, if that makes any sense. In Japanese, the name of the ability could either be average or ordinary because, well, they are normal types. I don't want to name an ability basic because that's also the name of the Unova badge. But yeah, Standard as a name, I think it would be great for all types of normal Pokemon. Now when it comes to poison type, I do believe that the name Toxin makes sense because it's not toxic, but it basically has the toxins of, you know, basically enabling your body to move because of poison and whatnot. In Japanese, I think that the name Venomous Substance would, you know, basically be that because when you merge poison with poison, that becomes even more toxic. So yeah, I think that the name Toxin would be great as a pinch ability for all poison type Pokemon. When it comes to Psychic type, I considered, you know, also because of body build, I also consider the name Brainstorm because BB, like body build Brainstorm, but I think that Brainstorm works better as the Japanese name because for the English name I want to consider Wavelength, like body build Wavelength, BW, black and white, you know, the body and the mind. So yeah, I think that the name Wavelength for Psychic Pokemon, like for the Esper types, right, I think it works better, and you know, Brainstorm could be the name for the Japanese name ability. So yeah, for Psychic types, the name Wavelength or Brainstorm, it will be an amazing name, not gonna lie. Continuing on to the Rock types, I do believe that the name Cluster would be a great name because if you watch, you know, Steven Universe, the Crystal Gems, the Cluster, whatnot, right? And even, you know, the actual Earth's core, the Cluster. In Japanese, the name of this would be Mineral Menace because basically major type of rock Pokemon, they are in the Mineral Egg group, so Mineral Menace, Cluster, I think it would be a great name for all of these type of Pokemon to, you know, have as the rock type pinch ability. And last and not least, let's go with the Steel type. And for the Steel type, I have something very simple. It's the name Forge because of, you know, blacksmithing and whatever, so like, you know, the Forge of Steel, and in Japanese it would be Metalsmith or something. I do love these names, so they are very simplistic in nature, but that's what, you know, Overgrow, Torrent, Blaze, and even Swarm are. They are simplistic, but they have the power, they don't lack impact, they actually show the impact of, you know, the Pokemon's type when they are at a disadvantage. So yeah everyone, this is all of the ability names that I personally would give to Pokemon if they had an ability for their types equivalent to the starters and even Swarm. I want to know your ideas. comment down below, and if you want more Pokemon content, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So without further ado, trainers, have an awesome day.